Hey everyone, it's Esmond. Welcome to the Game 7 channel and welcome to another friendly versus powerful deck tech episode. Today we are talking about the toxic slug, Toxrill the Corrosive. He's one of the most popular commanders from Crimson Vow, and we are going to explore two different deck techs, a more friendly build versus a more powerful build. If you enjoy this series, don't forget subscribe, leave a comment down below. You can join us on YouTube memberships, you get access to emojis and priority replies. Or you can join us on Discord, we can chill and hang out, or you can support us on Patreon. Alright, so the first build we're going for is a friendly build. This is aiming to be just slightly better than something like an upgraded precon. And the game plan for this deck is going to be ramp into Toxrill before we try and protect him, all the while trying to survive, making sure that our opponents don't hit us to death before Toxrill comes out. So let's get into the deck tech. This is Toxrill, the Toxic Toxin. And like I said, the first category here is going to be our ramp. So we do have some pretty efficient ramp rituals as well as rocks, things like Burnished Heart. And then we have our bigger ones like Black Market, which works well with Toxrill because when a creature dies, we get a counter on it. And creatures are going to be dying all over the place. And then we have Crick to just kind of cheat on our black mana. Lifelink is important as well because our opponents are going to see Toxrill and they're going to try and kill us. So Lifelink will help us at least stabilize, get some life back. Next, the plan is to give creatures to everyone. So we have, lands that give creatures to people. We can make their creatures into worse versions of whatever they have with all these kind of removal spells. Then we have things like Slaughter Specialist, Clackbridge Troll, Hunted Phantasm, Infernal Genesis. All these give our opponents 1/1 creatures, and it's important that they're 1/1 because they're easy to kill. So if they have a bunch of these out and Toxrill lands, immediately we get a whole lot of slugs when their creature dies. And then, of course, creatures are going to be dying, so they're going to be creatures for no one. So Toxrill is a 7 mana card, and in order to make sure we get to 7 mana, we're trying to make the board as clean as possible with all these board wipes, removal spells, things like Massacre Worm. Blood on the Snow has some reanimation as well. And then Sludge Monster works super well with Toxrill because it's the only other card that gives slime counters. We have Yawgmoth to proliferate counters and then more removal. Then moving on, we are trying to find ways to protect our slug because it's 7 mana, we don't want to cast him more than once ideally. So we have a few cheap ways to make sure that if he dies, he comes back straight away. We have some reanimation as well because it's cheaper to just get him out of the graveyard. And of course a whole bunch of counter spells to protect him when he's out. And things like Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots are great because they can give him haste as well as protection. Finally, we have some sluggish value. So these are things, for example, that trigger when another creature dies, because a lot of creatures are going to be dying, so Blood Artist will trigger a lot, so would Morbid Opportunist. We have a big card draw spell here in Stinging Study. Because Toxrill is 7 mana, we'll draw 7 cards and lose 7 life. So Conrad is another Blood Artist effect. And Bolas's Citadel not only gives us card advantage, but if we have a bunch of slugs out, we can just sacrifice 10 of them and each opponent will lose 10 life. So that I thought is a pretty cool way to make use of the slugs. And then, just in case we can't win from all of that, we have a backup combo here using Altar of Dementia, Spark Double and Puppeteer Click. So as you can tell, there's been like a slight reanimation theme in the deck. So how this combo works is that we gotta have Altar of Dementia as well as Puppeteer Click on the board. And then what happens is we copy Puppeteer Click with Spark Double, so it enters as a copy of the click with a +1 counter, and then we get the trigger, so we put a creature card for an opponent's graveyard onto our side of the field. Then we use Altar of Dementia to sacrifice the Spark Double copy, and that will mill our opponents. And then Spark Double, because it has Persist from Puppeteer Click, Spark Double will come back with a -1 counter. But because it comes in with a +1 counter, those two counters cancel each other off. So it enters basically with no counter. And then we get the reanimation trigger again from the click. And we can repeat the whole thing again by sacrificing it to the Altar of Dementia, milling our opponents, and then it coming back with Persist without a counter, and so on and so forth. So we kind of have infinite mill as well as infinite triggers from Puppeteer Click. I hope that made sense. And yeah, that's about it. Besides that, we have the lands, so 37 lands in total. Ancient Tomb, gives us more mana, as well as the Cabal Coffers plus Urborg combo gives us a lot more mana. We have card draw, scry. Witch's Clinic is an interesting one because our commander is 7/7, giving him lifelink is pretty damn good. Then we have War Room for more card draw, and the rest are pretty standard. It's up to you really what kind of lands you want to put in. Yep, so that was the friendly build of Toxrill. As you can tell, it's more focused on, just keeping the board clean, ramping into Toxrill and relying on him to win the game. The infinite combo is just a fun backup way to win the game. But now let's go into the powerful build, and this is more focused on the combo win. And the game plan here is really to just ramp into Toxrill as fast as possible, protect him before finding a way to assemble infinite mana and using his ability to repeatedly sacrifice him and cast him again in order to draw our entire deck out. So this is Toxrill Infinite Slugs, and it's trying to be a bit more powerful, trying to just go for the combo win and win as fast as possible. So our ramp package here is very strong. We have all these cheap or free ways to ramp, rocks, rituals, quite similar to the friendly build but definitely more powerful. And then we have a lot of interaction to make sure that we don't die before Toxrill comes out, as well as to protect Toxrill when he's on the board. So some similar cards from the previous deck, but a lot more counter spells. We have a tutor here with Muddle the Mixture, and we have things like Opposition Agent to slow our opponents down. So it's a really big interaction suite, 26 cards. And then we have a whole nother suite of advantage cards. These are just our card draw, card filtering, tutor cards. We have more card draw, we have ways maybe to get our opponent's win con out of the deck. Puppet Stitcher is a very interesting one because this deck plays a lot of instants and sorceries, so if we get him on the board early, we can start making a whole lot of tokens. And then in the late game, if we can't combo off, it turns into Puppet Factory, making all our tokens 3/3s, and this includes our slug tokens. Then we have a lot more card draw, card advantage. Mnemonic Betrayal is another way to win. If our opponents have a lot of things in the graveyard, we can just use our mana and cast them. Then of course, very powerful cards like Rhystic Study, Notion Thief, Windfall. So that's our advantage suite of cards. And then we move on to our combos. So there are a total of 3 combo wins here. Of course, we have the Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal. If we have enough rocks, we can copy it, tap all our rocks for mana, and then untap, get infinite mana, use it into Toxrill, sacrifice himself to draw cards. Then we have the instant win with Thoracle, and we have of course the classic Deadeye Drake combo, which gives us infinite mana as long as we have the lands. So that's our main way to win. So in this deck, we have a total of 34 lands, and it's really just very similar to the previous one. There's not really much we can add except maybe fetch lands. And the reason we are running 34 lands is because you can see the curve here is much lower. We don't have anything that is really more than 4 mana. Of course, we do want to get Toxrill out as fast as possible, and he's 7 mana, so hopefully we get to draw a lot of ramp or find ways to find our ramp, as compared to the friendly version where the curve is definitely much higher. We have a lot of permanent spells that are 4 mana or more. Of course, it's up to you if you want to take out some of the other more fun cards for more ramp or for more lands. But yeah, that is it for my Toxrill friendly versus powerful deck techs. I think they're both pretty interesting builds. They're both kind of more on the Dimir control side of things. There's a lot of removal, a lot of counter spells. Personally, I like the idea of giving creatures to my opponents just so that I can kill them, but yeah, that's just me. So thank you all for watching. Comment down below, should I have added anything else? Did I miss something out? And how would you build this? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.